Hello there, friends. It's Jimmie Maverick, and it is time to do another mock. It is Thursday, the 15th of August. Things are getting very close to your fantasy drafts, and I'm here. I'm going to show you how my app, My Perfect Fantasy Draft, is going to help you have an awesome draft this fantasy season. First of all, I want to invite you to go to my website, fantasyfootballmaverick.com. That's where you're going to find the app. You can access it from any web-connected device. All you have to do is just launch the app right here, but of course, you need to buy it first, so get the app right here. It's a one-year subscription, only $9.95, super inexpensive, absolutely worth it. It's going to give you critical pieces of information that you need to know that is going to help you draft the best team possible. So I am looking now. The draft is loading. We are going to do a 12-team draft. I'm picking second. We're going to do a quick setup of the app. Okay, so we just have to answer 3 questions. First question is, how does the league score points? This is Yahoo, so we'll go half-point PPR. Do you want to engage Jimmie's recommended player filters? I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to say no, because I want to show you all the players. I want to show you like how it determines good players versus bad players. Finally, do you want to enter draft mode? Yes, we're going to go into a 12-team, picking second. We'll go ahead and we'll enter draft mode, and what you can see is you see the player list down here. You got position filters up here. You also have, this represents each round of the draft. So, of course, we get our 1 pick early, but then all of our other picks are bunched together. So we'll be picking multiple players on these roundabout rounds. If we go into the app, you can see it's a minute and a half till the app starts. Who is my app recommending? Well, up at the top here, you got a whole recommendation section, and who I'm recommending is Christian McCaffrey first, Alvin Kamara second, Devonte Adams third. I think Christian McCaffrey is an excellent choice for your fantasy team this season. That whole offense is going to be outstanding. Be sure to try to get yourself at least a share of a Carolina player on your team, because you will not regret it. So let's go ahead and we will set it up for Christian McCaffrey. Now, what about like Saquon, right? Saquon's like the consensus number 1. How does he rank on my app? Well, Saquon is still near the top. I mean, he actually ranks just behind Kamara and McCaffrey. But you can see this little gun here. That means he's a long shot, which means that basically Saquon's getting taken first in just about every league out there right now. He might fall to us. Of course, if Christian McCaffrey gets taken first, we might consider Saquon, but I still like Alvin Kamara as the better overall choice for this season. Just looking at the quality of the team, the quality of the offense, quality of the quarterback, everything is better on the New Orleans Saints than on the Giants. So we got 2 seconds. It's going to start here. Just got to wait for Tyler to take his turn, and then we'll take Christian, and we will be on our way. So, of course, he took Barkley first. Christian McCaffrey is our pick. Now, here's all we need to do. We just need to go here to rounds 2 and 3. And we got to find 2 players. Now, who is the app recommending? Well, it's recommending T.Y. Hilton. It's recommending Zach Ertz, the tight end. It's recommending Brandon Cooks. Those are all good choices. But how is it coming up with these recommendations? Well, it's according to what I call the VORC score. This is something I created this past year. And VORC stands for value, outlook, reliability, and consistency. It's basically these 4 columns over here. And based on how the players score on these 4 columns, they get points, and then those points are added up, and that gives you your VORC score. So the top VORC player is actually Mike Evans, but you can see he's a long shot. He is typically going at pick 22. That's when he's being taken. He might fall to us, but it's less than a 50-50 shot. That's what the long shot means. But Mike Evans gets 60 points. How does he get 60 points? Well, first of all, the value score. He gets 5 points. It's basically pick number 23 minus his value rank of 18, that's 5. So that gives him 5 points. If the value is negative, that means the player is overvalued. Then on the outlook, he gets 5-star outlook. So he gets 20 points there. That's 20 out of 20 for those points. For reliability, high reliability. So he gets 20 points for high reliability. And then consistency, he scores 8 out of 10. So he gets 15 points for consistency. That gives him 60 points. Now on the flip side, let's go to the bottom of the list. Who's the worst player on the list right now? Well, Aaron Jones is sitting with a negative 25 VORC points. How did he get there, right? Well, first of all, look at his value. His value isn't as good. We're at pick number 23. His value is 28. So he gets minus 5 points for the value. His outlook is currently 1 star. Now, why is it just 1 star? Well, he is dealing with an injury. He's not practicing right now, and injury designations subtract 3 stars from the outlook. So if he didn't have the injury designation, he would score better. But for right now, he's injured. I don't draft injured players, and that's what pushes him down the list. You can see some other injured players down here as well. Next up is his reliability. Low reliability. The guy has a tough time staying on the field. So low reliability gets you minus 10 points. But he does score 6 out of 10 on consistency, which is better than average, so he does get 10 points for consistency. But you can see the negatives on this player greatly outweigh the positives, and you should stay away from him. And what I like to say is just stick to the top half of the list. Just ignore the bottom half, stick with the top half. So I do like the idea of going with an elite wide receiver. Certainly Evans if he makes it. Hilton is a great alternative. Cooks, not as thrilled with him because his value isn't as good. Look, his value rank is 35th. We're at pick 23. That's like he's a whole round overvalued. So I'm going to stay away from him. But let's get ourselves another running back. So if we filter for just the running backs, you can see that the top running back is Derrick Henry, but again, he is injured, so he is dinged on the outlook, and that brings down his VORC score. But you have players like Phillip Lindsay, does not offer great value, but Kerryon Johnson, that's the guy I want. Look at that nice value. Value rank of 20, and we should be able to get him. So I like the idea of going with Evans or Hilton, and then Kerryon, and if Kerryon is taken, we could go Marlon Mack. He's not as good a value, but he's not bad. I consider that 32. He's fair value right now. He's within 10 points of our pick. So let's go with that. I'm going to queue these guys up, and we'll come back when it's our turn, and we'll see who we get. All right, so it's almost back to us, and Evans did just get taken. He was a long shot anyway. I do like the idea of going with Hilton, but we're going to take our running back first. You can see Kerryon and Marlon Mack right there. The chances of them making it to the next pick are slim. Oh, look at this. Joe Mixon still on the board. That is very tempting. Let's see if he makes it to us because Mixon does score pretty well. And if we go back to the first round and looking just at running backs, you can see that Mixon is right here, 4-star outlook, value rank 17. So that is definitely a better choice than Kerryon just on the value basis. So let's see what happens here. Look at that. Mixon made it to our pick. So let's go ahead. We're going to go ahead and take Mixon. This guy should have gone early in the second round. He did not. We'll take him with our first pick, and now we just have to wait. Now, who else is still on the board? If we look at the wide receivers, Keenan Allen, Antonio Brown, Amari Cooper. You know what? I might be interested in Antonio Brown, even though he is injured. He's still he's the #1 wide receiver for the past 5 years in a row. I think he's going to be fine by the start of the season, and he offers terrific value. Now, he's very poorly rated right now because of the injury. Value rank of 25, so he is better than T.Y. Hilton. But high reliability, 6 out of 10 consistency, and again, if that injury designation was gone, his outlook would be much higher. So let's see here. Did he make it back to us? You know what? He did. Let's look at Keenan Allen too. I want to look at Keenan real quick. So Keenan Allen is right here. Value rank of 30. Okay, so let's go ahead. We're going to take Antonio Brown here. So we've actually scored. We've gotten 2 players significantly later than when they are typically going, and we got good value on both. I like the idea that Antonio Brown is our first wide receiver. We got him in the 3rd round. Let's jump to the 4th round and see who the app is recommending. So we've got Tyler Boyd, Phillip Lindsay, Robbie Anderson. These are all fine choices. I like the idea of sticking with running backs. Again, the running backs thin out so quickly. After pick 5, there's not going to be much left. So you've got Phillip Lindsay, we got Tevin Coleman, James White, Chris Carson. You can see here, look at how much it's thinned out, man. We will have to wait and see what happens, but I do like the idea of going with Chris Carson. He offers fair value at this point, 5-star outlook. His reliability is suspect, but his consistency is good. It's average, right? So that's good enough, and this is a run-first team. They are going to run the ball regardless of what's happening. Chris Carson's going to be a major part of that. I am not worried about Rashad Penny, so I like the idea of Chris Carson. Phillip Lindsay also offers nice value here. I think he's a good option. Tevin Coleman does not offer great value. That's the big strike against him. Look at his value rank, 77 versus our pick, 47. That's like 2.5 rounds of value that you'd be losing if you took Tevin Coleman. James White also does offer decent value here, but I don't like New England running backs, especially this early in the draft. So I like the idea of Lindsay and Carson. Kenyon Drake is injured right now, so I'm not real big on him. He was spotted in a walking boot. I don't want to deal with that. And then you got like Tariq Cohen, Mark Ingram. These guys don't offer good value, so you need to stay away from them. So let's go ahead. We'll target those guys. And the wide receivers, again, I don't really want to take a wide receiver. Tyler Boyd, though, great choice, good value at this point in the draft. Robbie Anderson, also good value, fair value player. Alshon Jeffrey, fair value. There's some good wide receiver options here. But like I said, let's stick with the running backs. Let's try to get ourselves 2 good running backs in this round just to secure up and firm up our running back core. So I'm just going to pause the video. We'll come right back when it's our pick, and we'll see who we get. All right, so it's almost back to us. Both Phillip, Lindsay, and Chris Carson still on the board. Boyd, Anderson, Jeffrey still available. I did look at what other running backs are available, and again, it's who we would expect. Tevin Coleman, there's Sony Michel. Again, I already told you about my issues with New England running backs. Miles Sanders, who I'm not sold on. There's James White right there. There's Tariq Cohen. And there's Kenyon Drake. So again, I think these 2 are still our best options. And it came to us, and oh, look at that. Chris Carson just got taken. Oh, man, that's very frustrating. All right, so let's go ahead. We're going to take Phillip Lindsay with our first pick. And I think maybe we need to go with James White for our second pick. Again, I don't usually recommend New England running backs, but he does offer good value at this point. This is half-point PPR. He is going to get a lot of volume, and that's important. And that New England backfield, it's always just very dicey as far as fantasy production. But this would be our 4th running back. So he is a depth play. Probably would not start him on most weeks, but there will be opportunities for him during the course of the season. And again, after this point, man, you're going to see the value on running backs is going to be awful. So you got to focus early on for your first 5 picks. Go running back because you're going to need them, because after that, they're nothing but speculative timeshares. There's really no good options after pick 60. So it is back to us. You can see that James White is still on the board. So is Boyd, Anderson, and Jeffrey. But again, the wide receiver is super deep this year. There's great options at wide receiver. We'll be able to get some good guys later. So let's go ahead. We'll draft James White. And let's jump to the next round. So the 6-7 round, who's it recommending? Okay, great option. Look at this. Jarvis Landry. Cam Newton, if we want to go quarterback. Now, I got to say, Cam Newton is one of my favorite options this year. We've already got Christian McCaffrey. We could stack him up. That would be very, very nice. Cam Newton, as far as I'm concerned, for value, he's my second most valuable quarterback this year. I think he'd be a great option that we could take probably with our 7th pick. Sammy Watkins, another nice option at wide receiver. His durability is suspect, but that offense is not. He will be productive as long as he's playing. That's also a good choice. But I really like going with Jarvis Landry. Value rank 62, so we're getting almost a full round of value by taking him. And Sammy Watkins, even better. Look at that. Sammy Watkins' value rank is 52. And normally I would choose Watkins over Landry, but the durability issue is huge for me. I trust Landry way more this season, and I trust that Cleveland offense. It's going to be a good offense. So let me go ahead. I'm going to pause the video. We'll queue up these guys, and we'll come back and we'll see who we end up with. All right, one other thing I looked at, we're almost back to our pick, but we still need a tight end. So I looked up this round. Vance McDonald is the best tight end available, and really after Vance, it really thins out. So I think we got to take Vance with one of our picks. I think that means we're going to have to bypass Cam, but don't worry, there's still plenty of good quarterbacks on the board that we're going to be able to take advantage of. But you can see Landry still there, Newton still there, and I put Lamar Miller up as well. He does offer decent value, and he's about as boring a running back as you can get, but he will get volume, right? So let's go ahead. We'll take Jarvis. But I think we definitely need to take Vance McDonald this round, and then we will look at quarterbacks for the next round. There's still going to be good options, so don't even worry about it. But I love that we have Brown and Landry as our wide receivers. That's a great 1-2 punch. Running backs: Christian McCaffrey, Joe Mixon, Phillip Lindsay, and James White. That's a great core of running backs. I think we've got a really solid core there. So it will be back to us in just a second. Look, Andrew Luck's still on the board. He is falling, and quite frankly, I don't want anything to do with him right now with those ankle, foot, heel, bone bruise issues that he's dealing with. I don't even want to deal with that. So, again, Cam Newton's still there, right? We could take him if we want, but I want Vance. Let's go ahead and take Vance. We lock that down. His chances of making it to the next round are almost non-existent, so we don't even want to chance it. On the app, if you see the hands next to a player, that means that they will be their reaches, and they will be the long shots on the next round. So someone like Sammy Watkins, he might still make it to the next round, although I think he was already picked, so it doesn't matter anyway. But you can use that to strategize that if you see a player that you really like and he's got the reach icon next to him, you know that, okay, if I really want him, I got to take him now, or I can gamble and see if he'll make it to the next round. Because, again, it's like a 50-50 shot or less that he will make it. So let's look here. So we're going to go to the next round, the 8-9 round, and look what we got. We got Larry Fitzgerald, a great wide receiver, another great wide receiver. Look at his value rank, 73. So we're getting like nearly 2 rounds of value out of him by taking him at this point. Also, Sterling Shepard, another great choice, but again, he's dealing with an injury. He broke his thumb. That's something that, how's he going to catch the ball with a broken thumb? So I got to see him back before I would be interested in taking him. We'll see what happens there. Austin Eckler, super sneaky running back pick here, man. If Melvin Gordon holds out the season, which I believe he will, or at least he's going to hold out for most of the season, Eckler's going to strongly benefit from that. That's a great, sneaky late-round pickup you can get in these drafts. Jared Goff, there's the quarterback that I love to target in this round, but you know what? I think we can wait even later and still get a good quarterback. Quarterbacks are super deep this year. So let's queue up Eckler. Let's queue up Fitz. And as far as other, let's see, any other running backs, let's look at the list. Hines, Freeman, Geis. Geis was really on my list until he got that injury, so I'm not really looking there. He's not injured. I'm sorry. He just has not been cleared to play. And I need to see them as full participants in practice before I take off that injury designation. LaShawn McCoy, Kareem Hunt. I don't want any of those guys. Let's look at other wide receivers. Again, Sterling Shepard's great. Watkins would be a great option. Curtis Samuel, now there's a guy that I want. He's got nice value, getting tons of upside. Did I mention that I love the Carolina Panthers this year, man? He is a great option at this point in the draft. So let me get these guys queued up. I'm going to pause the video. We'll come back when it's our turn, and we'll see you. All right, we're back. So Sammy Watkins is still available. I love the idea of going with Sammy Watkins. Curtis Samuel was taken, so that's unfortunate. Cam Newton just came off the board, almost made it to this pick. Had he made it, I probably would have taken him. But let's go with the highest upside wide receiver we can get right now. Let's get Sammy Watkins, and then we'll do the quick turnaround. We'll grab Eckler. I think this is an amazing steal for Eckler, man. I tell you this is going to be a great pick here. Just got to wait for our guy to go through these two, and then we will go ahead and take him. And like I said, with Gordon being out, Eckler's startable, man. I mean, he's startable with Gordon in, but now he's like a RB2, RB flex right in that range at a minimum. So nice floor there. That's a nice pick. Let's go to the next round, the 10th, 11th round. Again, we still haven't gotten our quarterback, but look at this. 2 quarterbacks at the top of this. Look at this, Jared Goff. Jared Goff, they say, is probably going to make it back to us. Phillip Rivers is an alternative. And let me tell you, man, elite offense. Rivers is a consummate QB1 every year, and he gets so dissed on the draft board. So he's also a great option. Wide receiver, we got Donte Moncrief. Let's look at the running backs and see if there's any good running backs we might want to steal here. So Hines, Breida, Lewis, Hyde. Again, Hyde might be a good steal here. Damian Williams has been dealing with injuries. Carlos Hyde is someone who could step up there, and obviously an elite top-notch offense. LaShawn McCoy still don't have any interest. Jalen Samuels, I do like him as well. If Connor gets injured, Jalen Samuels is an RB1 automatic, so you can put that in the bank. Ronald Jones, Damian Harris, not real interested in these guys right now. Harris is dealing with an injury, so let's try to get Jalen, and let's queue up these quarterbacks, And for wide receivers, what else do we got? We got Donte Moncrief. There's MVS. That's another high upside wide receiver. His value isn't great, but I think his upside is better just because it's Aaron Rodgers. But Moncrief has good value. Anthony Miller, if he wasn't injured, I'd take him too. Look at that. He's got nice value. But I think we got our options set. So I'm just going to pause the video. We'll come back when it's our pick, and we'll see who we end up with. All right, so it's almost back to our pick here. You can see Rivers and Goff at the top of my list. Also, I went ahead and I looked at who's still available. Well, Darrell Henderson's still available. Oh, no, he just got taken. Singletary's still available. Marquez Valdes-Scantling, Donte Moncrief. Oh, so it looks like Jalen Samuels did just get taken. Oh, that's a bummer. All right, so we can definitely go quarterback here, and then we'll swing around and grab one of these guys on the backside. We've got 5 running backs now, so I think we still need to build our wide receiver depth. Oh, and of course, MVS just got taken. But let's go ahead. You know what? I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to take Moncrief just because I like he's doing very well in camp right now, and that offense has a lot of upside. So let's go ahead and take that. Steelers number 2, and then we'll do the short turnaround, and we'll grab either Rivers or Goff. I am preferring Goff right now among those two just because the receivers that Goff has are better than the ones that Rivers has. So, there's going to be some better production there. So let's go ahead and Taylor took his pick. So let's go ahead. We'll take Jared Goff. And now we're going to go to the 12th, 13th round. Who's it recommending? John Brown, Sam Darnold, Josh Allen. So a couple more quarterbacks here. So again, if you want to wait even longer, the upside for Darnold is big this year. Quarterbacks make a huge leap going from their rookie year to their second year. Both these guys have big upgrades on their teams from last year. That they are a perfectly fine choice to go with, especially Josh Allen, man, because he makes money with his feet. So that's a good option. But let's look at running backs this round. So you got people like Peyton Barber, Deion Lewis, Kalen Ballage definitely has my interest right now. The injury to Kenyon Drake, plus he's been playing with the ones. They call him the 1B to Drake's 1A. I think there's a real good chance that he could become a starter here, even though it's not a very good offense. Who else do we got? Hyde, Madison, Damian Harris, Justin Jackson. That's the other Chargers running back who would be a good pickup as well. Of course, we already got Eckler, so I don't think we really need to worry about that. But let's be sneaky here. Let's go for Kalen. Let's go for Madison because he's the backup to Dalvin Cook. There might be something there for him. Let's look at wide receivers. So John Brown. None of these receivers are really thrilling me. None of them really offer great value, so I'm not really keen on taking any of those guys right now. So let's focus on running backs on this next round. So I'm just going to pause the video. We'll queue up some of these running backs, and we'll fill that up. Oh, actually, I think I already have 5? I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, so I can take one more. Okay, so I got to take like another wide receiver. So if we're going to look at wide receivers, let's see, on the 12th, 13th round, why not just go with John Brown? I think that's a good choice. I think he's a solid play, and he could have some flex value maybe. But all these guys are very chancy right now. So I'll go ahead. I'll cue these guys up, and I'll be right back. All right, so a lot of guys have been taken, but look, Devin Singletary is still on the board from the last round, so I like the idea of going with him. He has really been making some noise in camp, and I've got a feeling that LaShawn McCoy is going to be traded before the season begins, or someone else is getting cut. I don't know who, but Singletary is making a case that he needs to be the number 1. So let's go ahead. We'll take Singletary as our 6th running back. And then as far as wide receivers, I queued up John Brown and James Washington of Pittsburgh. We already got Donte Moncrief, so I think James Brown's going to be our pick. But overall, this is a nice, strong team. I very much like this team. The drafting from the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th position, they say is that's like the toughest section to draft from. I don't know why, but let's go ahead with that. So there's just all we have left to take is the defense and the kicker. I'm just going to pause the video. I'll take those guys. We'll come back. We'll review the team, but I like this team. It's a good one. Okay, so we're back. So I ended up taking Giorgio Teveccio of Atlanta as my kicker. Again, I love kickers that play in a dome with a good offense. That certainly fits the bill. My defense is Dallas. Look at their early season schedule. It's fantastic, especially weeks 1 through 3. You're going to score a lot of points if you take the Dallas defense, and they're super easy to get. So let's review the team. Quarterback, Jared Goff. Great quarterback. Wide receivers, Antonio Brown, Jarvis Landry, Sammy Watkins, Donte Moncrief, and John Brown. That's a solid wide receiver core. Certainly Antonio Brown, we got a great bargain on him, getting him in the 3rd round. Now let's for running backs, we got Christian McCaffrey, Joe Mixon, another steal we got in the 2nd round, should not have made it to us. Phillip Lindsay, James White, Austin Eckler, and Devin Singletary. That's a hell of a running back core. That is super, super good. Any given week, I could start 5 of the 6 of these guys. And if Singletary actually does what I think he's able to do, I will have 6 startable running backs on this team. So that's great. Our tight end, Vance McDonald. Overall, I love this team. This is a super solid team to take in with this for this fantasy season. And let me say, my perfect fantasy draft helps make it all possible. So go to my website, fantasyfootballmaverick.com. You can try the app out for yourself. Try it out on a mock draft. See how it works for you. I think you're going to find that it's going to change your game. It's going to give you all these important pieces of information that you need to know in a live draft to help you make the right decisions. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you liked the video. Please like and subscribe and leave a comment if you want to talk about it. But that's it, everybody. Hey, have a great drafting season.